Hi, Lindsay. How are you today?
Hey there, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. I know we were talking earlier how I've been wanting to do this for a long time with you. You have been one of my number one supports. You're the first person I came to with this idea, and you were anything. I remember you saying, anything you need from me, Mia, I can help you. And so I'm super stoked to have you on the podcast today.
Thanks for having
Um,
me. I'm excited to be here.
Yay. So we were talking, you run the Ladies All Ride, which is a camp. Well, not a camp, really.
It's
You
a
do camps all across
series.
the country. It's a series,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
series
Um,
of skills camps. Yeah.
how many skills camps do you have a year? Does it
We,
vary?
well, I mean, we've increased as we've grown. The demand was there. And so we've just kept adding camps each year. Um, about 16 is what we do. We're very proud of quality over quantity. So we try to just throw really quality events and give some space in between so that we all can be fresh for the next one. It's a lot of output emotionally and physically to run these
Yeah.
camps. And we all do it because we love mountain biking. We love inspiring women and building community. But you're putting a lot of yourself out there, So we spread them out and do 16 throughout the summer, all across
That's
the
insane.
country.
Wait, just throughout the summer? Like, when does it start? Like May?
Yeah. We do start in actually April. Sorry.
Dang. And it goes till now. Well,
We
October,
just
October
ended end of
time?
October. Yep. It's pretty much, yeah, April through October is the hustle.
That's insane. Have you seen a
Yeah.
growth even more in the last couple of years? Like, do you have demand for other areas for you to
Yeah,
go
we get
to?
requested a lot. A lot of people want us to come to their area, which is really flattering. But we're pretty particular in the kinds of venues that we choose because it's quite a production. These are events and there's 60 or more women showing up, plus all of our coaches and volunteers. So
Yeah.
nearly 100 women at each event. And there's a lot of factors to consider for when we run these, like a safe skills area to practice stuff, most likely in grass where you can get, work on your skills and drills and develop body awareness and start developing muscle memory by practicing things in a safe environment. Then we take it to the trail. So we like to go to venues where we have the ability to do the skills and drills in a safe area and then go
Mhm.
ride right from there onto trails. With that said, there's 8 to 10 groups of women that need to stay spread out. So we need a
Yep.
pretty big trail network to be able to run these. So I've been
Wow.
traveling through the bike industry, in the bike industry, traveling the country for the bike world for 20 years now. So I've had enough time to kind of assess and see what's out there and pick our
Wow.
venues. So yeah, it's been
Wow. And okay, so then follow up. Is there any areas that you've been to that you would like to go to that has that capacity to have 60 plus women and the skills area and trail networks? Is there a spot that it's like your dream spot that you haven't been to?
well, I think we go to our dream spots, which is kind of the point, after 20 years of traveling around the country, I've found some places that I really like and we tend to go there. We go places where we want to go. It's also part of the joy of what we do is bringing coaches together. And for all of us, it's kind of a working vacation. We get to have a couple days where we get to ride together. So it's really fun to go places where we want to go. Sedona, Arizona,
Yeah.
Montana, Wyoming. But I will say, we get a lot of requests for California. We were just talking about that, you and
Yeah.
I. And it's a big state and there's a lot of people. So we tried. Our first year, we went to Marin County and we got to use
Okay.
a private school, which was super random. We just happened to meet someone who worked at this private school and they said, well, we have mountain bike trails on campus. They had horses. It was crazy. Um,
Wow.
so we hosted it at this school, which was amazing. But then when we went to go do our trail rides, we had to bring our own shuttle vans down from Oregon. And then we got stuck in
Ooh.
traffic for 45 minutes trying to get to the trailheads. And we were just like, ooh, California's hard. So we never went back to the Marin venue, but we have been trying to go to Tahoe area
Ooh.
and it's just not working out. It's not
Oh,
working
really?
out. It sucks. We can't find the right venue. We've had lots of people try to help us. We were going to go to the Donner Adventure Center, but then the homeowners association wanted to take most of our money. And we're pretty small, and we try not to charge very much so that they can be affordable. And to go to a venue that wants money from us, it's just not what we do. Most venues see that we're bringing 80 women to their area. Most of them are coming from out of town.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these venues that we use, they welcome us. They want us there. They help us. They don't try to
100%.
make a bunch of money off of us because we're bringing people to spend money there.
Right.
So
Right.
it's just tough. And permitting, California is really hard to get permitting, and we do everything by the book. If you operate a commercial business on trails, you have to have permits, and California makes it really hard.
Yeah.
So not everywhere works, I do have a few dream locations. We've been trying to go to a lot of different places that we haven't been able to find the right venue just for what we do. There's great venues for coaching, just not great venues for the events we run. It's just like a race series in a way. They're going to pick the trails that work the best for the style of race that they're hosting. And our style of camps they require a certain kind of venue.
Yeah, no, 100%. But you go to some amazing places. Like my bucket list is to do your Montana one at one point. Even like Wyoming, the location is just absolutely beautiful. And I'm sure the trails are even more outstanding. Like the fun that you have on those trails must be amazing.
It's super fun.
I'm wondering if Mammoth, have you ridden up in Mammoth Lakes before?
I've ridden at Mammoth at the downhill park when they hosted a race there. And I just didn't find a lot of good teaching spots.
Yeah.
We like technical.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's not a lot of technical, I think Mammoth is a little bit like Mount Bachelor where we live, where it's kind of powdery, kind of moon dusty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we really like places that have rocks and roots and jumps and drops, because we're teaching people how to handle the technical stuff, so we like to go places that have a little Tech Gnar so that we can challenge people and really help them get more comfortable with technical riding, because that's the hard part of mountain biking. I think a lot of people can get on a bike and go ride a smooth trail, but start throwing some rocks and roots and some chunky chunk gnar, they need to understand what to do to get through it.
100%. That's what I heard at Rome too from a lot of people. I've ridden in Sedona a while, but a lot of people were saying it's a very humbling experience riding in Sedona, because it's the tech there is just something that is not common in other areas.
Yeah, it's constant. It is one of my favorite places to coach for sure, because you don't have to go far, because we don't want fitness to be an inhibitor. We don't need you to be super fit to come to our camps. We're not shredding miles and miles of trail. We're stopping and we're working on skills. And so places like Sedona, they just cut down on that pedaling time so we can stop in session and really get good at understanding how to work on these technical features. And so a place like Sedona is a dream come true. Then you come to a place like Bend, where we actually live and host 4 camps. And it's great. We love it. And I think people enjoy the pedaling component, but you're literally like, okay, 10 more minutes and we'll get to that next rock. Just hang with me. Okay, we're just going to slow pedal. It's going to be pretty. Look around. Can't teach you anything right now. There's nothing to teach you. So the venue matters.
Sedona, it's nothing but, you're going downhill and then you're punching back up and you're downhill and it's pretty much up and down like the whole time.
Yeah, totally. It's great.
What's your favorite trail in Sedona? Do you have one? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, I really love them all. I mean, I love Highline because I love techie climbing. And this year I actually rode most of the lines on Highline that I hadn't ridden before, which was interesting.
That's amazing.
As I get older, I just feel more controlled on my bike, I guess. And then I rode up a trail called Transept that cuts into the top of Highline. We rode up it and I had a blast up that. I love all the hogs.
Yeah.
I love chunky techie riding. I love that Sedona is punchy, but no like super long extended climbs. I do love climbing. I live in Colorado part-time, and that's a whole different ball game. You're climbing 2,500 feet in one go with no breaks, and that's a different kind of riding. I really enjoy Sedona style, like game on, moving the body, making it happen, fully engaged. Don't have a second to drift off in thought. You just have to stay in the moment and make it happen. And it's work. And I love it.
It is a lot of work. After my second day of riding there, for some reason, we only did like 6.5 miles, and I hadn't ridden in Sedona in like a year and a half. And so I got off the bike, and later that evening, I'm like, why do my triceps hurt? And I went to
Right.
dinner with Emma, and I was like, you're a coach. Can you tell me what I'm doing wrong? And she's like, Mia, it's the technical climbing. It's probably because you were pushing your bike up and you're using more of your upper body. And I'm like, oh crap, I forgot. It's really gnarly out here. You're using things that you don't typically do. I don't typically, like Southern California, I do a lot of trail riding. It's not so much technical, it's more climbing and downhill flow.
Yeah.
So it is very, very different.
Yeah, it's
So
awesome.
for ladies that would like to come to one of your camps, is your website the best place for them to find all of that information?
Absolutely. Yes. ladiesallride.com.
And it
Which really
has,
means that ladies should all ride together.
I
Or
love
just
that.
all ride in general. We should all ride bikes, because the more women who ride bikes, the more women will find confidence in themselves and the world will become a better place.
And there's something to be said to that, 100%. Again, I'm going to touch back on Rome because it's the only reference I have, where I heard women coming back from trail rides saying, man, if I had that support in my everyday life, I would never be upset. I would always be confident. I would always feel happy, because it is like you finish a feature and everyone's like, oh yeah, that was so good. Do it again. The riding with women gives you different type of confidence, because I don't feel we're competing so much as we're encouraging each other and supporting each other on what we're doing.
Yeah, there's very much a just this kind of underlying feeling of, wait, if she can do it, maybe I can do it too.
Yeah.
But a lot of us, I think a lot of women who started a while ago started with men. That's just kind of how it was. I've asked thousands of women how they got into mountain biking, and I'd say 90% would say, oh, from a guy or an ex-boyfriend who I don't date anymore.
Yeah.
And I just found that all these women getting into sports because of men maybe had an experience of not being able to keep up, not stopping and sessioning things. It just was a different experience. And so seeing all these women nowadays getting into this sport with a gaggle of women cheering them on and stopping and sessioning and coaching and helping them understand it has just changed the whole mentality of the sport. And it's just awesome.
And I'm sure you've seen a huge growth in the last 12 years that you've had Ladies All Ride, right? Especially, I would say in the last 2 to 3 years with COVID, there's been a huge boost. Would you say?
Oh, for sure. For sure. And like I said, I've been in the bike industry 20 years, and my first half of that, I was going to all the big races because my ex-husband was a pro racer and a free rider. So I was going to these big Crankworks, big bike festivals, Sea Otter. I've been to 18 Sea Otters, and
Oh my God.
I've really seen the growth in women at these big events. There was very little presence for women. There were very few women on the teams. There were no companies really speaking directly to women. I remember She Beast was around, and that felt like one of the only companies making stuff for women. I remember Fox, actually, because my ex rode for Fox, which is a clothing company. They made skorts.
No.
This is in like 2002, 2003. They made skorts with chamois under them. And I would get invited to go to these photo shoots with him and just be like, it'd be snowing out and I'm wearing this like skirt with a chamois under it.
Oh
like,
my God.
I don't know. I kind of isn't my thing to wear a skirt when I ride, but
that just totally reminded me of A League of Their Own when they want to put the women in skirts when they're baseball players. It's like
the skirt on, go crash off your bike with a skirt that's just gonna lift to all of your skin up to expose your skin.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I'm glad that doesn't exist anymore.
100% have seen the growth in women in this sport, not only on bikes, but in the companies that run the bike world. It's been really awesome to see. It's crazy when you have this vision. So I feel like it was so long ago. I just remember racing in the late 1900s when I started mountain biking. I was one of the only women going to these races. There were like 5 in my category of all ages, and I just kind of didn't think anything of it. But then when I got married and was just kind of thrust into the bike industry, I was managing his career, and we sponsored a kids race team, and we had demo bikes. Like, we traveled the country back and forth all year round. I just remember wanting women to ride with. And that was my first desire, was just like, okay, all the women I'm meeting at these races are pros, and that's a
Yeah.
little intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
The women I'm meeting who aren't pros aren't riding bikes because they're scared of the sport. I just kind of saw this theme with either you rode and you were super gnarly and a racer,
Yeah.
or you just didn't, the women I was around just didn't have any interest in riding because they were intimidated by the sport. So to see what it's doing now compared to then is just like, oh, well, I feel like I can just retire. My job is done. There's women in the sport now. I can find friends to ride with everywhere I go.
There
The
is, and I think
dream
it's
is
great.
real.
Yeah, and for me, who's hasn't been in it as nearly as long as you, I still crave for more. I still think there has to be more. There has to still be companies. I was talking to someone a couple weeks ago that works for a big brand, outdoor brand, and she was telling me that even though they design women's clothing, it's the men who are still making those decisions or who have the authority to approve or not approve something. It's still not so much women's opinion or advice on how something should fit for a woman. So there's still some work to go, but I believe that, we've come a way. We've come a little bit of a way.
Come a
I
long
saw a
way.
ton of women at Rome for all the companies, Rocky Mountain, obviously Live, Juliana, Industry 9, everyone, they all had a bunch of women out there, which was so good. So
Yeah,
good.
it's really cool. Even our clothing sponsor, we went from a clothing company that we were with for a good 12 years. And while we were actually working with women on the other side, it wasn't women who were the actual final decision makers. We felt like we were getting just a little lost in that company. And that's when Wild Rye came on board as our title clothing sponsor. And that's just been a dream come true. It's a woman-owned brand. It's women who
Yeah.
work there, clothes designed for the woman's body. So they're really diving into trying to create really good mountain bike apparel that fits all body types. And not just saying that, like truly, I'll send them a message and say, hey, there's one of our coaches can't fit into the stuff. And they're like, get her measurements. They
Wow.
want to know, like, what's her waist size? What are her hips? And how can we accommodate that smaller hipped, bigger waist or bigger booty?
Yeah.
Because, women are just like,
There's so many body types. It's very
right?
hard to
I'm
keep
built
up.
like
Yeah.
this. I'm literally built like a beanpole. I have no curves anywhere, no
We're
hips,
all
no in, no out, nothing. I'm just like, I used to say I'm built like a little boy, but we don't say that anymore. I'm built like a
like a
toothpick
woman.
woman. Yeah.
Like a tooth-
A very non-curvy woman, so
No, but
that's got its own challenges, but I want to see, I see all sizes at our camps, and I want every size, every body type to feel like they can fit into mountain bike apparel, and just
yeah.
feel comfortable in the clothing.
They're the one brand that I've asked for Christmas for my wife, who's probably listening. I have not tried them yet, and I want to. They're the one brand that I haven't tried on Wild Rye pants. I really, really want to try them on. And my friend who has been helping me with this, Becca, she's gotten some really good friends who have ridden Wild Rye pants, and they have nothing but good things to say. So I'm like, okay, I need to get my hands on those, because while I like Shredley and I wear their clothing as well, I have nothing against them. They're not as durable for some of the riding that I do, but I've heard that Wild Rye is.
Oh, I've
So
crash tested it for sure.
you crashed.
I've eaten a lot of shit in their shorts, and there's no holes in them yet.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know. I'm
No,
definitely
for
going to
real.
have
That's
to.
important. We bang against trees, we fall, there's a lot of falling in mountain biking. The stuff has to be durable. There's nothing worse than spending upwards of $100 on something that's not going to outlast a couple crashes, because that's what we do in mountain biking. We fall
Yeah.
down. Runners don't
Yeah.
fall like we do.
Yeah. And I mean, that has happened to several other pieces that I've had. I mean, you got to even think about something happened to me last week. I was wearing my new pants that I got, and my pedals just hit the top of my thigh just a little bit when I was doing something, and it put a hole in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, what did I do?" It's
No.
like I can't touch, I have to. So
Totally.
I really want to try some of the Wild Rye
Give me
apparel that they
feedback. Let
have.
me know, because they want to know. They care. They want to know what body types are not feeling comfortable. The ones who are, that's
Yeah.
great. They're going to buy it. But the ones who tried it on and don't feel like the fit is just right, they want to know.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna definitely. I'll let you know. I think we're gonna get some during Black Friday. I hope they're having some deals. I follow them a lot, and I think they always have
Women
really
led
good deals.
Wednesday. They have a women led Wednesday thing going on next Wednesday.
Oh,
It's instead of
perfect.
Black Friday, they have women led
Women led.
Wednesday.
That's
And
amazing. I love
yes, so
that.
that'll be splashed all over social media. So I recommend you promote that as well. There's a lot of
Absolutely.
women brands that are signed up for that to attract consumers to the Women Led Wednesday movement, buy from women, and then they encourage that Black Friday we all get outside and don't shop.
That's actually really good because I've had on my list to do for the website for the longest time. I have a running list of mountain bike businesses that are run by women, and I want to put that on the website. So
Oh,
maybe I
perfect.
can work on that this weekend and then have something posted about it for Wednesday. So it's Women Led Wednesday. Here are the businesses.
Totally.
That'd be amazing. Was that your dog, Izzy?
Yep.
How is she
Izzy,
doing?
Izzy, come here. She's good. Come here.
Oh, look at
She's like,
her.
oh, what? Oh gosh. Oh.
Oh, she's so cute.
Isn't she cute?
Hey,
She's like
girl.
a little hairy monkey.
How
I
old is
went I
she?
went from pit bulls to this. She's 9 months. She's a puppy.
She's a puppy
Yeah. I'm
puppy.
just a puppy. I'm from a New Mexico reservation and I have like
Oh.
15 breeds in me.
Oh my goodness. What's the biggest breed? What's the like biggest
Shih
percentage?
Tzu, Poodle, Dachshund, Flat Coat Retriever, Pug, and Chihuahua.
Dear sweet baby Jesus. She's a mutt. She's a mutt.
Super mutt. Total super mutt. From pit bulls to super mutts.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm glad
Yeah.
she's doing well.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's awesome. So I have kind of I don't know if this is a deep question, but I've been wanting to ask you, what inspires you to keep going and doing what you do?
Like so many things, but really, this is just something I truly believe that it's my calling. They say, I don't know who they is, but you hear, try to find your calling, try to find what you're meant to do. And that feels like so much pressure, you know? Even
Yeah.
as a kid, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I mean, I feel like my first thoughts were always like, am I going to grow up?
That's awesome.
No one ever told me I needed to.
Peter Pan.
Totally. You know, I honestly, what keeps me going now as I get older, it's hard. It's a lot of hustle. I travel a lot. My body goes through a lot. I give a lot of myself at these events and in between because I express vulnerability a lot to help others relate. I've always wanted Ladies All Ride to, it's a brand of mountain bike skills camps, but I always wanted people to have someone to connect with on the other side. So that's why I connect my name to the movement, is because I just want people to feel like they know someone that they can maybe relate to is there waiting for them, which is all my coaches. And what keeps me going, and I could probably speak for a lot of us at Ladies All Ride, is the joy we get in watching women accomplish things that they didn't think they could do. I mean, that's really the main thing, is that you get this wide range of all walks of life,
Yeah.
all colors, all body types, LGBTQ plus, you know, people
Yeah.
who are introverts, extroverts, doctors, lawyers, the housekeepers, whatever, from all
Yeah.
these different places, who are connected by the bike. And so first witnessing that connection and seeing people kind of melt into, we try to make a really welcoming environment. You know, we do our best to make sure we express that we have no egos here and that we're all vulnerable. And I express that I deal with mental health issues, and depression has been a big theme in my life. And so I think what really keeps me going is being able to inspire women to see that mountain biking is so much more than a sport. It's really a lifestyle that can bring so much into their lives. Community. I didn't find my people for a really long time. I got kicked out of my sorority in college. Don't know.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a whole podcast. But that was a really big fuck you. You don't fit in here, you know, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
really? Okay. Blonde white girl that doesn't fit in. Awesome.
Oh
And
God.
that really opened my eyes to just how other people who maybe aren't as fortunate or as privileged as me feel like not fitting in. And so with mountain biking, I really wanted to create a space, where I felt like I fit in because it gave me that. And then I wanted other women to feel like they fit in and that the common connector is the bike. And I just think that seeing women think they can't do something. How many 60-year-olds have I met who are like, I can't wheelie. What are you talking about? I'm too old for that, honey. And then they pop a wheelie and they're like, holy shit, I wheelied. My grandkids are going to think I'm so cool, you know? And
that's amazing.
right there, you're just like, job done. You know, it's really the joy I get from seeing other women realize their capabilities and then look at us and go, holy shit, I didn't know I could do that. And then we just look back at them and go, yeah, what else do you think you can't do that you probably can? And that's a big part of this, you know.
I just got goosebumps.
It's more than biking. And to be someone who grew up not really understanding my place in the world, not really trusting women, especially after getting kicked out of a sorority, that's a whole bunch of women saying, you don't belong here, we don't want you.
Yeah.
That sent me into my 20s kind of with a big fuck you to women. I got into advertising and I was into mountain bike racing and I would just chase boys. I even thought about the title of my next book is going to be From Chasing Boys to Leading Women.
That is an amazing title. And I think you should, do you have a book? Because I'll help do anything I can to get that
I
out
do
there.
have a children's book, but not.
Well, right. But like Lindsey's life story.
Right.
You know?
Chasing boys, because a lot of my life was about chasing boys. I felt like the boys accepted me more, even if they rejected me in a way physically of being better than me. I thrived chasing the boys down and beating the boys. And when I turned to mountain bike racing to get my fitness back and to just have a competitive sport in my life again, I was really racing boys most of the time. When I did start racing women, it wasn't the same. We were like cheering each other on, telling each other good job, saying, oh, that second corner is really gnarly, watch out for that, like helping each other, you know. So I've never really felt that competition with women. Once I met more women in mountain biking, it became more of a camaraderie, and that blew my mind. And it really opened up my eyes too. There's got to be more women like me who have this kind of aggressive personality, who doesn't really know where we fit in amongst women if we're not finding them in the right places. So I really took it upon myself, you know, over a decade ago to try to be a voice for mountain biking, to help women see that this sport can really do so much for you as far as building courage and strength and just seeing what you're made of.
Yeah. That's so amazing. I really did get goosebumps because everything you talk about is everything that I want to do in life as well. Just seeing someone be able to accomplish something they didn't think they could do. And like you touched on, we've been ingrained to be second place in everything that we do in life and to not be confident when we are like, we can rule the world. God damn it. That's how I think of it. You know,
Totally.
We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
But that really is amazing, Lindsey. I think what you do is just so inspiring. It's so inspiring.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
So if someone wants to coach for you, how can someone reach out to you and volunteer? Let's do coaching first, coaching volunteer, and then regular volunteers, people like me who are not coaches and would love to volunteer.
Totally. Yeah. We have a whole program for people who want to just help out, just to be a part of it. We have a lot of women who are past participants who are like, oh my gosh, I love this. I just want to be around it. So they come volunteer. And then we have a lot of people who are interested in coaching. So they can go through our coaching program. You just email us. People can go to our website, ladiesallride.com. And there's a, contact us, which is really just info@ladiesallride.com. And just tell us, hey, I'm a coach. And you tell us if you have certifications. And then we give you our schedule and we send a formal letter inviting people to sign up for whatever camps they're interested in coming to. Unfortunately, we get a lot of people who want to come, and you can only pick so many. So that breaks my heart. I'm just like, I want all 60 of you to come to every camp because you're all amazing. But it's also what keeps it fresh for me is I go to all the camps, but I have a different team at a lot of the camps.
Right.
I have a few coaches who travel with me everywhere, but a lot of camps, there's a different team, and it's really exciting for me because it's all fresh. Like I see them a couple times a year to coach, and it's awesome. But anyway, yeah, you just message us and tell us your credentials and that you're interested, and then you'll pick some locations that you want to come to. And if you get picked, usually first time is volunteer to just shadow a coach, see if you like our style. You know, we try to have a unique program where our coaches have their own style of coaching. We don't do anything by any book. We're all certified coaches. I've been certified by a bunch of companies for over a decade. And I've kind of created my own coaching style using all of my knowledge and my experience. And so we also pass that down to the coaches. So if you are shadowing us, you're going to hear maybe some new things, see some new types of drills that we do to help people practice things that are very relatable to the trail. We're not big fans of just like making you go back and forth on the grass. We like to create little obstacle courses and stuff to help people really hone in on their skills. Yeah. So that coach will shadow us and see how they feel. And then they'll move into an assistant role and then a co-coaching role. We kind of have a program, a tiered program that people will go through because we do have a lot of really experienced coaches. And I think that's something that we're really proud of, is we have been doing this a really long time. And we do have a lot of coaches who have the experience. And with mountain bike coaching, experience is a big deal. And just like anything, you're like, well, how do I get the experience? If I don't have the experience, I need the experience, you know? And so we try to give them that experience by coming and shadowing and then assisting and then co-coaching, where two coaches come up with a plan together and they learn how to work together. And then from there, you can become a head coach. And then the same with volunteers. You just hit us up and tell us you want to volunteer and pick some camps you want to go to. And hopefully it works out that you get to come to one.
Yeah. And for everyone listening, I'm going to post all this information on our website, on the podcast, on YouTube. So you can just one click away, contact Lindsey and her crew, and even go to her website, anything that you all need. I am so bummed, not stoked. I was bummed I wasn't able to volunteer for one of your camps this fall, because I'd broken my wrist. I had this issue with my wrist in October, and Allie was like, Mia, do you want to come volunteer in Sedona? And I was like, oh my God, yes, but I can't. It was so hard. And then it turned out it wasn't broken. I had a doctor tell me that I had necrosis in one of my bones. So like one of my bones in my wrist was dying. And so I freaked out. And then he goes, well, I'll send you to an actual hand specialist. And I'm like, well, what are you? He did knees. He was a knee orthopedic. And I'm like, why am I at a knee orthopedic?
Like, pretty sure it's a different body part.
So I went to the hand doctor and he's like, no, it's not. You don't have necrosis. I think what you have is tendonitis and carpal tunnel. So let's do some tests and stuff. And thankfully, and so then by the time I was ready to email her back and say, yes, I just need to find an Airbnb and I can come and volunteer for you guys, I got bronchitis. So I was literally like, it wasn't meant to be.
You're like, not this year.
So I'm on the radar. Hopefully next year I'll be able to come help you all out over there in Sedona and whatever you need. Anything. I'll even be your water person, like anything.
Awesome.
Are all skill levels welcome at your camps, or do you prefer beginners? Or
all skill levels are welcome, from new riders, never mountain biked before, to advanced. However, it's been an interesting year since formation happened. I think more women are seeing what women are capable of. You know, I think it was just Rampage. It was kind of like, let the boys ride down those big steep cliffs and whatnot. And now that more women are doing it and they're throwing down some tricks, we're getting girls coming to our camps like, I want to learn to whip.
That's so good.
And we're like, okay, well, hold on here. Like, you need to know how to do a few other things before we're going to teach you how to whip. Plus, not many of us are whippers. So we do encourage the people who have very specific advanced goals, like whipping, to attend a private clinic, you know, just like a private lesson with a one-on-one coach. And there are a lot of coaches out there. I mean, if you've ever heard of like Kat Sweet with Sweet Lines up in the Seattle area, she's been coaching jumping for a really long time. And we send a lot of people to her. We're like, you want to learn how to get a little styly in the air? go to someone who's been primarily coaching jumping and get a one-on-one lesson. Coming to an event that's really meant to create connection. And of course, it's based in skill building because that's what we do all day.
Right.
But it's also very life-changing and we're relating mountain biking to life. We're having lunch together. We have education stations where people can learn to fix their bikes and fix a flat. And we have fear talks, and it's a whole event. So we're definitely telling people that if you have specific goals that are more advanced, this isn't the place for you.
Yeah, but still an amazing event nonetheless. Yeah, sure. I was trolling Redbull's page over the last couple of years. Basically just saying, why isn't this being televised? Like formation is. And I'm sure they're probably working towards it. I'm sure it's something they're working towards. But the second year, this is their second year, right? They just had it the second year. And I was just floored. Everywhere I could share everything, I was sharing it. And I had friends of mine who don't ride bikes texting me going, are you watching this? These ladies are killing it. I thought it was the guys going down here. No, these are these women kicking ass down these hills.
I love it.
And yeah, so I was just trolling Red Bull, and I'm like, this needs to be televised. When are you getting this televised?
Right.
But like I said, hopefully they're working towards it. They have a lot of really good people. I would love to volunteer to be a digger at formation.
Totally. Yeah.
Need to find the right person to stalk online and be like, let me come help you.
Oh, I'm sure Katie Holden can connect you with someone who wants a digger.
Well, I would love to connect with her. I haven't been able to do that yet. But I'm going to keep trying.
I can connect you with Katie. She's probably busy right now, but yeah.
Yeah, she's
a very small industry. We're all friends. Any of us who've been in it for a while. Katie and I have done a lot together over the last 20 years.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So one other thing I wanted to touch on with you was the Girls All Ride. You also do something for the younger generation. Is that right?
Yes, we have a Girls All Ride program. We did take it on the road for a couple years, and we just didn't have the signups. And it's really more of an intensive program that should just be in one place because we work on confidence building. We use a book called The Confidence Code for girls with a workbook and a journal. So it's a little more intimate than just a mountain bike skills camp for girls. It's definitely focused on helping them build self-esteem and confidence and helping them understand what a good friend looks like and a bad friend looks like and smart risks versus dumb risks. Like this book is great. And so we integrate mountain bike skills with this book and try to help the younger generation of girls see how sport in general, movement, challenging yourself physically, translates into emotional well-being and community building. We're really trying to help them see the relationship between sport and life and that they can develop strength and confidence using sport. We help them understand that falling down is part of life and how to brush yourself off and get back up and how to identify when you're actually injured versus just scraped up. And it's become a really cool program. I pretty much came up with it and passed it on to some of my team here because I travel too much to be here for the girls. And we have an awesome team of women here running this program and loving it. And we're hoping they just keep seeing it grow because there are some youth programs in Bend, but they're very focused on race development. And so we saw a need to create a program for girls that's just about having fun on the bike and building friendships and confidence. So it's really cool.
And you have that every year as well? Is it a few times a year?
Yeah, it's all through the summer. So they can choose different programs. They can come to the 5-week program where they're meeting twice a week for 5 weeks. They can come just to the 2-day program. We have a bunch of different ones. We have a couple that are a week long. So every day for a week of the summer, they can come. So we're just kind of trying to develop the programming, talking to parents, seeing what they need. It's really cool. Yeah.
When my goddaughter's old enough, I'm totally going to get her on this.
Oh,
she's only 3 and she's already on the balance bike. Like we always have to tell her to put her helmet on because she just wants to get on the bike and go.
Yeah, totally. I love it. I love it. Well, that's where my book comes in. Etiquette is
yeah, let's talk about your book.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah, really, this woman, Heidi from Seattle, came to me during COVID. She, my first love is writing, writing. I'm a journalism major and I was in advertising and PR and I love writing. And so I write a lot on social media, even. It's like my teachable stuff. I see all these
Yeah.
girls now posting stuff on social media and like talking into the camera. And I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I like writing. I'm just going to write it. And if you want to read it, fine. If not, sorry,
That's
I'm
awesome.
not for you, And so this woman, Heidi, just happened to just pay attention to my writing, I guess, and messaged me one day and said, I'm in Seattle. And during COVID, the trails were super crowded and nobody seemed to have good etiquette. And I was thinking, I just had this crazy idea to write a book about etiquette in mountain
Yeah.
biking. And I'm coming to you to see if you want to write it. And I was like, what? So I thought about it and was like, okay, a book about etiquette for kids. That just seems a little too heavy for a kid's book. And I remember looking at one of my friends one day, who's one of my main coaches, and I said, I'm interested in it. I just don't know. Etiquette's a big word. And she was like, there's your title. And once I kind of thought about the title, I was like, okay, then I'm not going to dumb the book down, because you kind of think if you're going to write for kids that you have to use short words and be really basic.
Yeah.
And then I started studying children's books and I really found myself coming back to Dr. Seuss. And Dr. Seuss is fun to read at any age. And I thought, this isn't just a book for kids. Let's be real. This is a book for adults too. And anyone who rides a bike or plays in the outdoors, really. And so I just kind of played around with rhyme, and Heidi and I together just wrote out kind of the lessons that we thought people needed to hear. And then I just took it to rhyme, and I spent a whole winter obsessing on this book. I probably worked 13 hours a day on it,
Oh my
finding the
gosh.
right rhyming word, because rhyming is an art. It has to be like each sentence has to be the same amount of syllables, and the rhyming words have to land in the same spot. So that just became like the coolest word puzzle I've ever done in my life.
That's so good.
And I just fell in love with it. And so, yeah, here it is. Etiquette is a big word, and it's in rhyme, and it's a fun book, and it's not dumbed down. So for your parents, I actually had a parent say to me that he thought his 9-year-old might be too old for this, but he wanted him to read it with him. Is a guy from singletracks.com, actually. And he said that his 9-year-old loved it. It didn't feel too young for him. And he had asked him at the beginning, do you know what etiquette means? And he said, no, I actually don't. And then at the end of the book, he asked him, so do you know what etiquette means now? And his interpretation was to treat the places you play in well and to be nice to people. And I was like,
what an amazing kid. That's so good.
So that's really the theme of the book, the book is about being prepared. It's a kid's version of like having your parents help you make sure you have everything in your pack and be prepared so you don't go out there without tools and food and stuff, and know where you're going. And then it gets into like etiquette on who has the right of way, horses on the trail, passing people when they're going slower than you, and picking up trash when you see it. And our little heroine, Izzy, is a strong, independent little trail steward who is because it's called Mountain Biking Adventures with Izzy. Etiquette is a big word. I've left it open for all the different life lessons that Izzy, aka Lindsey, has learned from the bike, right? She's like the kid I wish I was, someone who's just ready to change the world. We're using bikes as her tool. So I'm channeling the inner me into this little girl, Izzy.
And I'm looking at it right now. It's available on Amazon, and I'm going to go get one for my godkids right now, because every year I buy them a book.
Oh, I love
Christmas,
it.
They get a book for Christmas. They're big readers. Their mom's a big reader. And you're talking about Dr. Seuss. We were over there on Saturday night. We usually see each other every Saturday night. And my CJ set up a little book stand, and he's like, Auntie Mia, which one do you want to buy? And I was like, oh, I've never read Dr. Seuss before. And everyone was shocked, but I hadn't. Like, I didn't grow up with that. I grew up in Brazil and Australia. So that wasn't really, we had like comic books. That was my thing.
Yeah. I love it.
And he asked me, he's like, what book are we getting this year from Santa Claus? And I was like, well, I don't know, bud. I got to find one. And now here it is. I'm going to get it. So good. So good.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been really fun. So that's kind of my future, I think, is going to be just continuing to spread the gospel of mountain biking through the younger generation to hope
Yeah.
that more kids see the value in a sport that they can do forever.
Yeah, so that's amazing. I was just about to ask you, plans for a second book?
Oh yeah, for sure. Mountain biking adventures with Izzy and all her life lessons there's a lot.
That's amazing.
There's a
And what
lot.
about a biography? Have you thought about that too?
I definitely have. It's funny because I did another podcast earlier today for SRAM, one of my title
Hmm.
sponsors, and I definitely was like, I've lived an interesting life from being on Survivor, on reality TV, and
Yeah.
being married to a pro mountain biker when I knew nothing about the sport really. I raced because I liked riding bikes, but I didn't know about the industry, to running a baseball team in Australia. I lived in Australia for 3
What?
years. I did. I ran the baseball team called the Gold Coast Cougars.
Oh my God, you're up in the Gold
I
Coast.
was up
Do
in
they,
the
are they
Gold
still
Coast.
around, the
Oh my
Gold
God,
Coast
they
Cougars?
are. They are still around. The Gold Coast Cougars. I went to school for a semester at Bond University in the Gold Coast, in
Hmm.
Surfers Paradise, which is such a joke. And then I ended up dating an Australian boy and just staying. And he played baseball, and I was like, I'll work for this team. And they didn't have a marketing person, and I was like 22 years old. Like, I'll be your marketing person, sure. No idea what I was doing, but I had so
You
much
fake it
fun.
till you make it. Fake
Oh
it till
yeah,
you
that was
make it.
easy. No one in Australia knew what baseball was. It's a cricket country, So I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy. I'll just educate you all about what it is.
Yeah, people still don't know a lot of it,
Yeah,
what
I
baseball is
know.
over
Where did you
there.
grow up in Australia?
In Melbourne, down
Okay.
south.
Yeah, I've been to Mount Buller.
Yeah, Mount Buller was
Yeah.
one of my favorites. I learned to cross country ski right around there in Lake Mountain. It's adjacent to it. My first snow camp ever was
Awesome.
up there. We had to camp in the middle of the night. It was in the snow. It was not fun.
Love
But
it.
it was fun to go skiing, at midnight with a full moon where you could see everything. Like I remember that was amazing.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, I'm finally going to get to go back home next year. My mom's turning the big 7-0, so we're all having like a huge
Mhm.
celebration for her,
Awesome.
which is going to be awesome. When was the last time you were in Australia?
Well, I was just there at Mount Buller to do. I spoke at the Australian bike something summit. I spoke at an Australian summit about
That's awesome.
ways to get more women into mountain biking, and I flew there on a broken foot, and I had a knee scooter, and I
Oh
rode the
my
pump
God.
track on the knee scooter and like
No,
fell
you
off the
did
pump
not.
track and like re-broke my foot, and then flew 14 hours home with a broken foot. Yeah,
Oh
so
my
that
God.
was 2018.
Yeah, that's the last time I was home was
Yeah,
2018.
2018. November 2018.
Oh my God, you poor thing.
I know, I'm broken.
That's the worst. Like riding with broken anything is really amazing.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I just had someone on our Instagram when I was asking people to send you questions. They said that they love your swag. They love all the swag that you post.
Oh, I love it. We're about to post some more. Tell them to get ready to shop next week.
Oh
I'm
yeah?
sorry I didn't see your little thing to post it.
Oh, don't be
I
sorry at
am
all. It
not
was
on there super often.
I work full time. Like I do have a full-time job as well. And I've been on since like 7 o'clock this morning. And
Oh,
I finally was like, oh, I need to get some post out to see So it took me a second.
whatever. Well, we can do this again too. As you grow and get bigger, we should plan to do it again.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for coming on. I really appreciate your time. I know it's
For
precious, and
sure.
even though right now you're not in camps, you should definitely enjoy your downtime. And Thanksgiving's coming up next week, and
Heck
I know you're
yeah.
probably going to have a bunch of family time and good vacation and all that good stuff.
Totally. It's the time of year to chill out a little bit before the next hustle. Gotta stretch. Keep stretching.
That's right. Thank you again, and we'll chat soon. Have a
Yeah,
great night.
thanks. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.